Well, hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You saw the ARI 5200 3-bay covered hopper in pre-production form right here on my channel. Now we've got the production models. These are out in the wild, so we're going to take a look at what this completed, finished 3-bay hopper from Classonemodelworks entails, starting right now. So we're going to choose UP because, you know, I'm biased towards UP as a UP modeler primarily as the one to unbox, but they have what I call a peekaboo window here, so you can see, zoom out just so you can see the whole box a little bit, but you can see the model itself, kind of verify that you put it away properly. But you just open this little tab at the end. Model comes out in a blister packaging. No paperwork, which I actually like. I think there's really no need for paperwork in today's day and age. You get a receipt, you know, the warranties, whatever, off the website, and you're good to go if you have any issues. But that's all there is to the unboxing, and that makes it great for people that have too many pieces of rolling stock like me. Alright, with the UP out of the box, we'll go over a few features of the UP and then I'll show you the different versions. We're just going to point out a few things, like the triple ribbed top sill that goes along the main body here. There's very slight weld lines where the car is assembled. You can see those are going vertically, so you can see those up and down along the side of the car body. Obviously, FRA mandated striping post 2006, and speaking of dates here, the UP versions of this came out in around 2005 and then again in 2014, so very much a mainstay of the railroad right now, so you can see them pretty much everywhere. Also, a thing to notice on the car is the top. There are lots of different features that vary from model to model on these, including the top roof loading hatch variants. This one has 5 roof loading hatches. You can see the detail where they secure down along with the bracing above the hatch, and this metal walkway up top, which is nicely done. So a lot of metal walkways kind of bow based on temperature. These are very, very robust. And overall, just my first impressions of the car are really well executed, nicely detailed car that is towards the top of anything in, or at the top of anything in the industry right now. You see a separately applied grab iron that's yellow for basically crew safety here. And then on the ends, you can see all of the support structure for the car and area for the crew to board the car. Also, towards the ends of the car, you can see the end supports and crew access ladder that is integrated into the end supports here. Coupler cut bar and brake line hose with silver tipped end. You also have what appears to be metal couplers on the model as well. Going to the center, you can see all the warning writing, and that seems all clear and legible. Like I can see that right now. It says do not apply vibrators to any part of the car body. Oop, it looks like Andy part of the car body, except vibrator brackets used on loaded cars only. So there you can see the warning labels and such. Union Pacific Building America shield there on the side. And the empty load. If you look there, you can see the jacking pads on the ends. and on this end you can also see the brake wheel, a lot of the plumbing and the air reservoir that help facilitate the use of this car. Spring mounted coupler, crossover platform there on the end that appears also to be etched metal but painted, coupler cut bar. On the trucks, which do have roller bearing caps that roll, you can also see the marking of the road number and road name on the trucks there. Here on the underside of the car, you can see the shaker brackets, which are connected to a shaker that shakes loose all of the product in the car, making sure that none is caked or kept up in the actual car. There's the dual outlet discharge unloading gates, as you can see there, and the red and blue connections, and the gate itself. And then as we move along, you can see more of the same on the other bays as well. 3 bays total, again with lots of writing. And here's a look at the bottom crossover platform. As we go back up top, you can see the pneumatic impactors. That helps get product flow going as well. Had to get a view here where it'll actually focus in on them. It does not like that at all. There we go. So there's all that in detail as well on this car. So there's a detailed look at the UP. We're just going to go forward with the other 4 versions that we have here and point out a few different features, not everything obviously, on these cars. This first one was just the detailed look, but there is your UP version. Here's the CHTT version, which stands for Chicago Heights Terminal Transfer Railroad. Now this is an order that was placed in 2006 for these cars by CHTT, and one of the differences you'll notice right off the bat is those hatch detail differences up top. So instead of, as we turn this towards you, instead of the round hatches, you have these long hatches, and all the hatch detail again, etched metal walkways. You can see a little better those weld lines where the car is pieced together with the metal there on the sides that run vertically. And that's about all that I'm seeing different on this car right off the bat. I'm sure there's some differences. Now we get to the end cage here, and there are some differences as well. Like this one has 1 vertical support versus the other one having 2. And instead you've got a support going diagonally across. Then we'll take a quick look at the bottom. One other thing real quick is you can see some of that plumbing there that's just routed. Very highly detailed models. You never see that before on anything in that high level of detail with that level of plumbing. Towards the bottom, some differences there as well in the gates. Only 1 discharge here. I believe another difference with this car is you see that black plumbing there. I believe that is the pneumatic impactor. I might have misspoke on the first car. But there are your differences between the first and the second car. Now we'll be able to go really quick through the other 3 versions. Here is your CEFX. This is a soyplus.com version. Probably the busiest paint scheme you've got going on here. Many of the same features as we just mentioned on the last version, but again, the top hatch is different. Again, we have 4 on this one versus the last one where we had 4 with 3 short ones in between. So that is another variation of this car. So pretty cool CEFX version here. Soy plus the gold standard dairy feed ingredients. Look on the bottom. Got your gates again. Single discharge, it appears. So there's a quick 360 degrees Vanna White version of the CEFX. I said 5 versions total, but we just have 2 CITX versions here. So that's going to be the same as what we've already covered with the CITX versions. But overall, pretty basic paint scheme. Most of the details we've already covered. Just do a quick look at these. One thing to be careful of is these end cage details. Sometimes they're press fit in certain locations, so they can get jammed up. Like one of them I just had to move towards the back, so it looked like it was all angled, but it just needed to be moved to a different location and it was press fit. Now the car length is 7 3/4 inches. So going off the NMRA standard of 1 initial ounce plus ½ ounce per each additional inch, or each inch of the car I should say, we should be sitting at 3.5 plus 1 is 4.5 plus 0.375, so we should be sitting at 4.875, and we have a weight of 6.4 ounces, which is absolutely fine. Once we check drag and stuff, it's just going to track really well through your turnouts and such. So we'll double check to make sure it's free rolling, but exceeding the NMRA weight is typically fine. Speaking of NMRA, we usually do most of this off camera, but I'll do one of them on camera. The NMRA wheel gauge test here. So I'll do the height off camera. I moved that to off camera to save some time, but if I can just get where you guys can see, everything here is good and engaged. All right, we'll check free rolling. These are very free rolling, no problem there. I did realize I lost a roller bearing cap on one, so I don't see any in the box, so I can just place an order for spare parts, but these roll fine without any issue. There's no body wobble, so that's good as well. One thing I failed to mention is the wheel faces already painted a light kind of rust color, so that's nice that you don't have to do that. Makes it a lot easier. Well, that's going to wrap up our look at the ARI 5200 cubic foot 3-bay hopper from Classonemodelworks. Overall, pretty nice hoppers. The only thing we kind of stumbled upon during the review was a slight misspelling on one of the small warning labels and a missing roller bearing cap, which can be ordered as a spare part, I'm sure. But overall, these are very, very solid models at the top of the industry. For such a young company, it's nice to see such a well executed and much needed model. And there's several models still out there. Lots of freight that's needed, and modern freight I think will do well, as these have done well and are selling out quick. The KCS and the Crab Apple Orchard, I think it's called, is already sold out. So be sure to get these if you can, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel. I'll leave you with a quick run by of just a switcher moving these out. Have a good one and take care.